think Bas was on the States, the marketing guy from me. A very nice phrase, which I really liked, and was empathy for the legacy. That was a real nice, and I was thinking, no Bas, that's really right, because in the former sheet, what you saw was a lot of old legacy, but also new created legacy. And I think that's a good way of starting our presentation, because I myself, I'm the CEO of Crystalloids, but I was not always working in a consultancy firm. I was starting as an e-commerce guy, a direct marketing guy, a database marketing guy, and also became a CTO of a big multinational. And we always struggle with, everybody wants insight into transactions. If you are in sales, you want to have insight in transactions. If you are in supply chain, you want insight in transactions. If you are in CRM, you want insight in customers and what kind of transaction. And they all have the same question. Questions about what product did we sell, what customers do we have, and how much did we sell. If you're in finance or in CRM, you all get the same, but they all manipulate the same source, the data about it. So, and I was thinking, in the past, it's me, Crystalloids, CEO of Crystalloids. And we have a great website with trying to explain what we do and how we do it for our customers. And what we actually have done for Rituals is create on top of the Google cloud environment a real-time data management and application platform. It's a big phrase, but that's what we did. We built for them. But what we didn't do is we didn't build the order management system, we didn't build the CRM system, we didn't build the mobile app. That's what we didn't do. We only built the backend. And I still remember 4 years ago when I came to Nico and said, I got this great idea. We should build we call it now a data lake or information lake, but there is one difference. The consumer should swim in the data lake. What does it mean is that the consumer, all the data around the consumer should be separated from, or separated, should be at least duplicated, or at least be in charge, separated from Salesforce, separated from the mobile app, separated from the financial systems. And that's actually what we did. So we started building this environment in a way that using all these Google products, so BigQuery, Data Store, Data Flow, App Engine, Content Engine, all these Google products around the consumer to deliver back to the organization, or either under 500 milliseconds, or between 1 and 3 seconds in the BigQuery world, to, for instance, what Nico mentioned, the Power BI solution, or to a mobile app information about the customer. So that's what we did. And it looks a little bit like this. So I was not concerned about, of course, hardware and implementation stuff. That's what Google is about. What we did is focus about the customer, together with Rituals, to support the complete customer journey. So we collect all the data, just like I said, in two ways, or either to analyze it in finance or in CRM or analytical stuff, or directly being used in front-end applications. So that looks like this. So for instance, we as Crystalloids, we don't build the mobile app. There was already a mobile app. That sounds strange, but that was the legacy. So empathy for the legacy is literally true, because we didn't build the mobile app. But what we did is to follow customers in stores. We delivered all the loyalty functionality from the Google Cloud, so that they could use it on the mobile phone, they could use it on the iPads, and we built an environment on top of Google to either analyze. So if you go to currently the analyst of the Google world, they want to know how many new loyal subscribers do you have this morning, and they access BigQuery and they can calculate how many people have been subscribing to this program. That's not the mobile app responsibility. The mobile app just delivers the barcode. So there's an environment on Google to create this barcode, to let people log in to the information and subscribe to them. And the first country we did this was in Belgium. Now it's a rollout in Sweden, in the UK, and we're rolling it out in the United States at this moment. So the great thing of Google, of course, we scale on the cloud. The only concern we have if Richard's going into China, how are we going to manage this? That's the only concern we have at this moment. Hong Kong is not an issue because there's a data center in Hong Kong, so we follow rituals into Hong Kong easily. So that's for the legacy app. Let's call it the mobile app as a legacy app. So that's the way. Which they have omni sales. Of course, they sell online. When we start working with them, they had, I think at that time it's called Demandware, now it's called Salesforce Commerce Cloud. And we said, well, the consumer swims in the data lake. So the way we integrate with Salesforce, and that's nowadays we call it our contact API. What we do, we make an integration between the contacts in Salesforce. If you already have an existing Salesforce or a Magento or a hybrid environment, and we if you log into the Salesforce or Demandware or whatever you call it as an e-commerce platform, we retrieve your information. That has a benefit in two ways. We have a lot of customers, they migrate from Magento to Hybris, from Hybris to Demandware, from Demandware back to something else. But your mining environment, which you always want to serve to your customers, there's all your data. So we don't have to transfer the transactions. The transactions are in Google Cloud. So that's an omni-sales. The same is the stores. So we worked with, for instance, Carlos as an organization. So when you walk into currently in Belgian rituals, what happened there, you go in and say, well, I want to purchase this. You show your phone, barcode is scanned, and the transaction and the article, they flow into in Google Cloud stuff. They of course do the transactions on the cashier system, which is a normal cashier system. They retrieve the customer on postal zone or whatever, but that's all served from the APIs running on the Google Cloud. So the cashier system is a simple thing where it's good in, the cashier system, and not a CRM system. Same on supply chain, because we have all the step data, the product master data management feed into the Google Cloud environment, you can directly analyze it. So what they start doing at this moment, we're also taking into the Google Cloud not only the information about what's in Microdynamics about stock positions, not only information about about the product, but also, for instance, the information about the supply itself. So what they're currently doing now with some of the projects is who do you order to? Because they have all the information of all the factories delivering goods today, which is also in the Google Cloud to be analyzed in machine learning or all that stuff. So it's not only the products and the product information, also the stock of the suppliers. Furthermore, if you work in marketing, there's always this issue with logos and new branding and all the stuff to do. And then the boss decides, let's move to a new logo. Then you have to go in all the production systems and change all that stuff. In Rituals, what they've done is Celligent, which is an email platform, and it can be, we have integrated with a lot of those email systems from all vendors and all. They just use it as a postal service. So what we do, we take all kinds of transactions, we take all kinds of lists you want to do, and we manage, again, two-way, because all the information of the customer is in the data lake. Celligent is just being used as what it's good at, sending out emails. For transactional emails and for list-based emails. So there is no need to get very difficult customer information into a mail package, which is very good at sending out emails. Blacklisting, whitelisting, graylisting, whatever kind of listing you all kind of have. So what the result is that for sending out the mailings, they just have only sent the ID to a mail package. So again, to engage also on phones, and they use Celligent to get some small messages in social networks. We pass through on events to the special delivery packages. So there is a loosely coupling between these two environments. Also, when you start doing using Google search and all that information we take, so the general message is we take all kinds of data And we also deliver, let's say, reference files to put behind product searches in Google. And because there's a link between supply and audiences and what you try to sell, we take more intelligence in what you sell on the website of the country. Yeah, and then big organization, they do only sales, so there were complaints, of course, like I didn't receive my package, and they had it outsourced to, I think, Arveto. A lot of us do this when we start doing e-commerce, you outsource the telephone stuff. Then they want to take it in-house because they found it too important not to do it externally. And what we did again, so the customer was already in the cloud. And they added Salesforce Service Cloud too. But the way we implemented it, so the Service Cloud application needs to look in the Google Cloud to see if the customer is already there. And we delivered a search API on top of the database. And then Service Cloud can do its thing where it's very good at, delivering the case. So yeah, I didn't receive, and then do the actions, and then send a message to whatever the emailer, because Salesforce Selligent is the email. Anyway, so same story again. What we're currently doing with them is, and I'm not sure if you know these small, this is, I think everybody in e-commerce knows analytics, Google Analytics, free package. Some bigger retailers have Google Analytics 360, which is, then it doesn't filter out any of the stuff, any of the traffic. But what not everybody knows is that you can also use Google Analytics 360 to steer your advertising online. For instance, the what's called now DV360, which is display and video 360. In the old days, DoubleClick. Google Ads, in the old days, AdWords. And you can really, if you have information in your mail package, this is us. We guide and steer and analyze everything, and then we push it in the world of Google through advertising. With other customers, they also want us to do it in Facebook, of course, to get this message in Facebook. You can get the following scenarios, and this is really happening. You're just looking on the website. The website is not here, but take it as another collection of information. You're on the website, on the product page. You just see that the consumer is not buying it. So what you can do is, for instance, send an email, because you know that he is on your website. You have this message. You take that person, because you have identified, because everything about the customer is in the data lake. So you have identified him. You send him an email. You just wait for, let's say, 30 minutes. Does he open his email? If he doesn't open his email, perfect. Get him into in real time in GS360 and advertise with him online. You have a kind of smarter retargeting. So what you can do with this technology, if you implement it on the Google, I think it's the next slide. Yeah, you can start creating all kinds of intelligent flows by using all that Google technology. And we did a lot. So these are real implementations of e-Google flows to capture real-time events from the e-commerce platform or the order management system, to get it into what we internally call our, it's not a CDP, but it's our contact API. It's not a real CDP off the shelf, because we always adapt it. Why? Because we have empathy for the legacy system. We're not going to create a mobile app on this. You have a mobile app. We're not going to make an e-commerce system. You have an e-commerce system. We work together with these systems. And this is, for instance, what we internally said, well, actually we have our contact API, which is some customers, if they don't have a data management platform, where you do the bannering on real-time events on your website, and you don't have a customer database platform, we act as a customer database platform and a data management platform, which is kind of common in e-commerce as well. But we also have stuff like how did the case went in Salesforce, so you can do your sentiment analysis. Okay. So wrap it up. So we help our customers like Richards to support the customer journey, but we also help them to support the business journey. And what they have, for instance, for the store managers, they have an iPad. So they can see, I'm the store manager and I want to, yes, they do use Power BI, but they also have an iPad system for the store managers. So all the BI is being supported. For instance, the finance department still use ClickView, but they do it directly on the back end of Google. Some of the marketeers, they use Data Studio. But how do we support them? We've created a semantic layer, which is actually not on top of, but it's in the Google environment. And all these environments, the same pictures again, all put their data in the information layer. And then what we do, there is a person, and our staff, who created a single way of what is net revenue, what is gross revenue, what is tax, what is, so that every system which has benefits. Data Studio has benefit if you're an e-commerce guy, because you can pull in a lot of stuff from other sources. And this is actually our work. So we don't develop front-end tools, we don't develop mobile apps. We can, but it's not where we're specialists. We're specialists in creating this customer database platform on top of Google. So in wrap up, in Rituals, they're only concerned with what do they can innovation towards their customers to give them a good feeling, not to make it beautiful, as they say sometimes. So, and what we do, we take all these sources, we have knowledge, and here are a few. But our people working in Agile, which can really be done in sprints of 2 weeks, integrate all these systems, and we have experience with so many now at this moment, from almost every big e-commerce platform, every email platform, every BI solution, every and as a situation we also have, for instance, knowledge about the old legacy of analytics like SAS and IBM. But the only thing is, there is only one platform in the world who really can support massive worldwide businesses without any disturbance. And I have a lot of grey hairs, and in the old days I worked a lot with IBM and Microsoft, and I was always in the weekend, why is it not working? I started in 2007 with Google, and we're never concerned anymore about it. And I was engaging, it's not a customer yet, but I was engaging with a potential customer. He said, we were so concerned on Black Friday that our e-commerce solution would work. And I'm still looking at him like. And Nico sometimes he always says, do you have time for me? Because he's my customer. And I don't have time for you. I have to deal with all the other guys because the whatever system didn't work last night. Maybe we should take more to Google. Because that's the beauty. It always performs. So, wrap it up. So that challenge was to get, we started with, they were in a few countries, now they're worldwide. They had to scale, they wanted to have a single view of the customer, they wanted to have more insights, and they were really like democratization, which you saw on in the main stage this morning. So everybody who can make a SQL query can access the BigQuery stuff, and they do it on the day-to-day basis. It needs to be future-proof. We'll see if it's future-proof. And they want to do it in an agile way. They have so many agile teams running around to create value for them. The logic is, we're working with the current POS system, but we're already working with the new POS system guys also. But what they don't have to do is migrate customers, migrate transactions, migrate product information. That's what they don't have to migrate. But they want better front ends. Now it's Apple, for instance, which is really key in the front end. But it could be that they have, in 2 years, maybe Android phones, I don't know. And then what they also like, and then we have some other customers we engage with, they say, well, we go full in on Salesforce. Up until the moment they see what it costs to have 15 million names in Salesforce, for instance. And well, maybe that's not a real good idea to have 15 million names instantiated in Salesforce, because then it becomes very expensive. In Google, well, 15 million names is really small compared to sizes of if you have 220 million Americans or a billion Chinese. So it's still small for them. So the cost is relatively cheap to store your data about your customers and all your transactions and all your information in Google. So that's really cost effective. And it really scales. And future-proof in the sense that this is one of my examples. It's not per se that this that I think that we will all buy on Google Home in the next 6 months. I'm not sure. I don't know it. But what I do know, for us to make the first Google Home application, okay, the custom is already loosely coupled, so it's not in Salesforce. So you don't have to go to Salesforce. You can directly access the APIs. So we built in, I think, 2 weeks, the first application for them. Then decided not to put it live, but that's their choice. But it's not like 6 months or how we're going to migrate all the customers to get it behind Google Home, because all the information about transactions and customers is out there already. So that's us. That's our website. And if you have any questions, just ask now or later with the coffee. That's it. Okay.